Hello and welcome to this week's Superwomen Wellness Connection channel. My name is Kim Goldtom and I'm a certified master wellness coach and the founder of the Empowered Living for Superwomen program. And I am so excited. I have Sandra Payne here with me today. Welcome, Sandra.
Hi, everybody. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here because I was so excited when I learned a little bit more about your niche and what it is you're doing these days, and I just feel it's so relevant for what people are experiencing. And I'd love for you, before you dive into that, because I know I get excited sometimes, but I'd love for you to just share with everybody what it is you do and how you even got interested in doing that.
So thank you for that question. I love being asked about myself because often I'm the one asking questions. So it feels really good to be able to share a little bit about my own journey. And so I'm a nurse. I've been a nurse for 14 years. I'm also a mother. I have 3 little boys and married. We are like serial entrepreneurs, me and my husband. And so even as a nurse, I've always had these like extra little buckets that I've played in. And so after I came off of my last mat leave 3 years ago, I felt very strongly that I didn't want to go back to that traditional role. And it was a good role. Like, I'm not trying to knock it in any way. I was the team lead of the cardiac clinic here in my community of Prince George in British Columbia. And so, I mean, I had like quite a bit of success as a nurse, but something in me was very strongly pulling me not to go back. And the more I explored that, I realized it was because I felt like a lot of what I was doing in that role was not aligned with what I believed anymore. And I knew that I could serve people in a different way and that I could potentially give them more when I was outside of the box of what, policies and procedures and budgets put you in. So I decided to leave that role and take the wellness coaching training. And so here I am today now, a certified holistic wellness coach, and and super excited with where everything is going. And it's exactly what I thought. I'm able to serve people in a much more expanded way and more aligned with what I believe and what I feel, and it's like just this really beautifully, intuitively guided program. So it's been really exciting.
Wow. I just love that. I just like, oh, I felt like my eyes were getting all teary. I was like, I'm so excited for you.
And when I think back, you were the first person that I talked to with the IAWP, like a year, like almost, I don't even know, a year and a half ago, maybe it was.
Wow, that long ago. It's been so fast. Time goes so fast. I'm just so excited because this has been such an incredible journey, and I can't wait for you to share a little bit more about, specifically your niche and how you're helping your niche, because it's just so important, especially right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's, I feel a lot of my 14 years as a nurse, I often struggled with this question, like, what am I doing here? Like, I didn't quite feel like I fit. And I definitely moved within a lot of jobs. And I just always felt like I wasn't sure why I became a nurse. I love helping people. I loved my patients. I worked with babies for most of my career too. So, not well babies, but still, it was a very, I loved that part of it. But there were so many things that I didn't love. And I often wondered like why I became a nurse. And I had this kind of light bulb moment that where I'm at now as a wellness coach, I was like, maybe that's why I became a nurse. Maybe my sort of background intention behind getting into this career is so that I could learn what it's like to be a nurse so that I could help nurses. And as it evolved from there, I just realized the struggles that I was experiencing when I was on the floor nursing, or even when I was in the community, are the same. Like, the amount of nurses that have responded to me since putting it out there that I was serving in this way has been overwhelming, to be very honest, because the emotional and primarily the emotional impact that so many nurses have experienced. And I should say it's not just nurses, it's been care aides, it's been physicians. So it's really any healthcare worker. And, but the amount of emotional overwhelm and exhaustion that is going on, and the burnout is just, it's a lot. Like it's a very heavy place to be in, because the issues are huge, and the issues are really not what I address, though. The, you know, the political, the big management type issues are, they're not what my role is, I feel, at this time anyhow. Whereas I feel like my role right now is to guide nurses to find the balance that they're looking for, to find the release, to get rid of some of that negative, heavy energy that they're carrying with them from all of the, you know, the experiences. It's not uncommon for a nurse to be a part of an experience that's traumatic. And so that, you know, that creates a very lasting impact on us. And when we're experiencing that on a regular basis, that, you know, it takes away, it really is a very difficult thing to process. And we're not traditionally taught, not just nurses, people, not traditionally taught how to deal with that, right? So true. It's very, it feels very aligned, and it's like, this is why I became a nurse. So
nice. That is great. And I know you have some tips that you want to share with nurses so that they can feel a little bit more relief. And I'd love for you to share that with the audience today.
Yeah, thank you. You know, there's so many things. And so I like to put it into a little nutshell, and I just called it the 4 steps to overcoming overwhelm for nurses. And I've done a workshop on this, a free workshop that I offer every month, and it's an introduction to these steps. And obviously it's, you know, it's just kind of grazing the surface of it. But the interesting thing is that a lot of people come back to me and say, you know, these are so simple. This is not new information. And it's not. We all know that we should be doing these things, right? And that these are tools that we could incorporate, but actually incorporating them and putting them into your busy life is very challenging. So that's one of the things that I do help people with, is like, you know, taking these simple practices that we know we want to do and we know are going to help us. How do we fit them in to what our current lifestyle is? And sometimes that means scaling back our current lifestyle, because I mean, the busyness that we live it's insane.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
So I'll share a little bit about those tips. The first one that I say is to write it out. And so journaling it's a powerful practice. It's something that just about every wellness coach, I believe, would recommend. It's cathartic. It allows you to get out anything that's weighing on you. And the relief that you feel when you journal is really, it's tremendous. I think sometimes we think it's such a simple thing that we don't engage in it, or we think it's not worth our time. But really, to sit down for 10 minutes a day and write and just dump whatever is weighing on you can be just so therapeutic for you. And often I get a lot of resistance with journaling, because I'm sure you do too. And it's like, you know, I don't know how to write. I don't know what to write. I don't like writing. Right. So there's ways around that. And I always say, like, there's no rules to journaling. This is your journal. Like, you write whatever you want. Like, you want to write curse words in big black letters across the page. Like, you go right ahead. This is your journal. Whatever makes you feel good. Just dump it out. This is your page to dump. And some people do like a little more structure around journaling. And so I give them prompts, and I give them, you know, a letter writing technique, which has been a really helpful thing as well, to kind of process some times that we've been hurt or wronged, or we felt like we've been wronged by someone. So to really help us weed through that letting go process. Yeah. And then step number 2, I would say, is getting quiet. So finding some space for stillness, and, you know, it really ties to the busyness of our lives. And most often we are not making time for this. And it is, I think, it is one of the most important pieces, because what I know and what I've experienced and what I've seen other people experience is that when we get quiet, we get answers. Yes. And so we're often like searching for, you know, what should I do? What's my next step? Is this right? Is this for me? And we feel all this internal conflict. Well, if we would just stop and pause and breathe and listen, we get all the answers that we want. And it's really, you know, I think I'm so grateful that I figured this out for myself. Like, even though people told me, took some time for me to incorporate it into my life. And now that I do, I just, anytime I'm feeling lost, the answers are there. So I really encourage people to get quiet, even for 5 minutes a day can make a really big shift. And then often following that with the journaling session is really, it just kind of compounds that impact. And I think, 5 minutes a day, sometimes people will say like, that's not enough, right? Or nothing's going to happen in 5 minutes. And I'll say, sure. Yeah, if you do it once, probably nothing is going to happen in 5 minutes. Yeah, right? Like, you took one pill. If you had some kind of illness, it's probably not going to do anything. So I say, like, give it a good try. I'm a Kundalini yoga instructor, and one of the things in our practice is that you do something for 40 days because it creates a new pattern. It allows you to really experience the benefits of it. And I can guarantee you sit quietly for 5 minutes with your eyes closed for 40 days, you're going to feel different. Something is going to shift inside of you.
That's cool.
Step number 3 is embracing joy and really choosing joy and yourself and things that fill you up as a priority. So of course, like, the buzzword is self-care, but it carries with it like this generic kind of like, I'm going to go for a massage, or I'm going to have a pedicure, or I'm going to have a bubble bath. And the thing is that I think self-care is so much more than that. It's about choosing you. In my coaching, I talk about the yes and no path of life. And we go into this exercise where we really explore what yes feels like. And self-care is about leaning into yes. It's about choosing you. It's about choosing things in your life that make you feel good, that make you excited, that make you feel joy and expanded and just, excited, I think, is the biggest word. Like, instead of dreading. And, the amount of days that when I was nursing, that I would wake up and like snooze my alarm 6 or 7 times and then finally get out of bed and drag myself. Like, there was no excitement. There was no, I can't wait to get there. Now my alarm goes off. I mean, granted, I have 3 kids that are probably in my bed by that point, but there's a lot more go to me. And I feel like that's a big part of it, is that I have chosen to lean into the yes. I have chosen to make yes in my life a priority. And so that can look different for everybody. I really encourage people to make a list of things that fill you up, and then choose something every day. Choose something. It could be like making your bed. It could be setting your table. I've had one woman say it's wearing brand new socks every day. I'm like, all right, let's go with the socks. Yeah, whatever does it for you. Yeah. So step number 4 is feel it all. And this is actually one of the things I enjoy talking about the most. So I'll try not to go on a big rant about it, because our emotional wellness, I think, is one of the least served parts of us. And particularly in our Western medical system, where we treat the body, we sort of treat the mind, and then we kind of leave the emotions like they're not important. And or we just treat them with a pill. And I think one of the biggest missing pieces in our lives is this freedom to feel, and to feel it all, and to feel it all with acceptance and love and gratitude, and just celebration of the fact that we are these energetic humans that have all of these vast experiences, and without holding it back, without any kind of apology. And so there's lots of practices, and the Kundalini is a big one for emotional targeting and emotional release, but something that's very simple people can incorporate is shaking. And often, I don't know if you've shaked before, but it's a very powerful experience. And when you learn about trauma, and we've all experienced this, because if you've ever seen an animal that was scared, they sit there and they tremble, right? They shake. And that's their way of moving that traumatic, that fearful energy through their body. And then it's like they literally shake it off and they go about the rest of their day, right? They're not affected by it. But humans, if we went and curled in a corner when somebody hurt our feelings, that would be a little bit awkward and socially inappropriate. So So we don't. But by not doing that, we're becoming stuck. That energy, because that's what emotions are, is just energy. It becomes stuck, and then over time it builds and becomes something much more than that original experience. So shaking, even for a couple minutes a day, like I won't do it on the camera because it's really distracting with your arms flying around. But but just shaking your body in whatever way feels like it's feels right. So just a short story. My son, he had a tonsillectomy when he was a kid, and this is actually an experience that a lot of kids have trauma from. And so we went back into that experience when he was in the room and they put the gas on his face, and I could see his body tensing up and starting to shake.
Yeah.
Just that internal vibration, right? And I asked him, like, what are you feeling right now? And he, you know, he's like, I feel scared. I said, do you feel like you want to run? Like, what do you feel like you want to do? He's like, yeah, I feel like I want to run. I'm like, do you feel like you want to shake? He's like, kind of, I already am. And so I had him stand up and shake, and he did it. And I was like, just do it however your body wants till you feel better. And he did it for a few seconds, maybe a minute, and then he sat down and I could see the shift. So, and I've experienced it myself, but it's very profound, very profound.
That's great. I've never actually done the shaking technique, so I'm going to have to incorporate this. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, you can dance too. Like if the shaking's a little weird, right? Some people are like, I don't want to do that.
That's okay. Yeah, whatever works.
Yeah, exactly. But dancing is another really great way. So that would be my four steps to overcoming overwhelm. Like I said, they're very, they're broad topics. And so like to give a little snippet of it, there's so much more to those, particularly the emotional experiencing stuff. So the last kind of nugget I generally add in there as like a fifth step is support, because I think we can know things like we talked about in the beginning. We can all have this knowledge of what we should be doing, or maybe the inner knowledge that we want to do something, but actually incorporating it into our life is a whole nother ball game. And I know that having external support can be a really I know personally, and I know I've seen it with my clients, like when they have that support, it just makes that jump a lot easier, right? To know that you have somebody in your corner. And so I did create a private Facebook group. It's called Surviving Nursing. And it's for any nurses that want to join. And we are meeting bi-weekly. It's a free service. It's a free call just to support one another, to share our stories. Not as a venting place, because that's not helpful for us to just, rehash through experiences, but to really share and inspire and motivate and empower each other so that we can rekindle that passion for nursing, because we all got into this for a reason. And I think the more burnt out we become, we lose sight of that. And then a lot of people leave the profession. So my goal with that is for us to really connect and create that net of support when you are trying to make changes, that you have this group that you can fall back on to be there for you and to help walk you through. Yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you. That's exciting. I think everybody who's a nurse really should take advantage of that. And with that being said, I do have a question about that. Does it matter where a nurse lives? Does it matter for them to live in a particular area to be able to join your group?
Yeah, no, it's open to anybody across the world. Wherever you are, you can join. That's the beauty of Facebook. So wherever you are, if you're a nurse, anywhere, you can join. It's called Surviving Nursing. You can find it. It is a private group, but it just asks a couple questions to get in, just that you're a nurse. And we are meeting on Zoom. So it's open to anybody to join in. And it's not me coaching. It's not a coaching call. It's just purely a support call and me facilitating that with the group. So yeah.
That's fantastic. I love that. Oh, I'm so excited. I'll make sure that we definitely include that in the links, in all of your social media links for that matter, in the description below. And could you share where some of the best places for people to connect with you on social media are?
Yeah, thank you. Sandra Payne Wellness. So it's as easy as it could be. And you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, as well on YouTube. I have a number of Kundalini yoga videos, some meditations, as well as some, just inspirational videos sharing nuggets about all sorts of things that could pop into my head that I feel like I want to share. So there's another source for you to find, as well as the Facebook group, Surviving Nursing. So yeah.
Nice. Thank you. I just love this, and I love all the tips that you shared and the stories that went with them. I could certainly relate when you were talking about just take the 5 minutes to kind of be quiet and, do something for yourself or whatever that is that you choose. Because I remember the first time I tried that, I was doing a yin yoga class, which is a whole hour. And there's, several minutes in between. And I was like, there's a lot of pauses here. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to be doing? And I was, one of those individuals who had been burned out. So that was to go to an hour, that was a huge process. So 5 minutes, I was like, yes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes. Anybody could do 5 minutes.
Yeah, anybody can do 5 minutes. It's funny though, is that anybody can do 5 minutes, but almost nobody does, because
Right.
because how do we fit 5 minutes into our day, right? And I
Right.
think that comes, you have to make it a priority. And
Yeah.
sometimes we don't make things a priority until we know how it's going to affect us. So
Right.
I'll always say to people, like, just trust me. I'm like you're a toddler. I want you to just try this. If you don't like it, then don't do it. But just try it and see how it goes for you. But don't, like,
Yeah.
like I said, one time is not going to be a huge shift. And a lot of times people are afraid of getting quiet too, because when you're quiet, you have to hear everything that's going on inside of you. And that can be a really big step for people. So again, having support, having someone to kind of talk you through what comes up, what kind of thoughts you're having, it really, trickles into that whole, what our mindset is and how our mind is working either for us or against us. But yeah.
I love that. Well, thank you for all of your wonderful tips, everything that you've shared. Is there anything else that may have come up that you would like to share before we let you get back to doing all the amazing things that you do?
I guess I would share that we, like I did say, that workshop that I do is, it's called Nurse Life, from Surviving to Thriving. And it's a 1 hour workshop, and it is free. So you can, I'll post about those on my Facebook and my Instagram. Anybody that's local to me too, if you want to come out to my Kundalini class, that is a powerful thing to attend in person. But I do stream it live as well.
Cool.
And for now, I'm doing that for free as well. So if people want to join that, they can just find me on social media and send me a message, and I'll send them the link. And then all you gotta do is find your mat and join me on Sunday mornings, Sunday morning my time anyways, which is 10 a.m. On the West Coast, but wherever you're at, you can join. So that's the beauty of technology these days, right? Is people can come from anywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love that. And you're so generous. I really appreciate that you're offering so many opportunities for people to connect with you virtually and really get, kind of a feel for what working with you could potentially look like. That's fantastic. Congratulations.
Thanks. Yeah, it's amazing. I love it. I wish I could do everything for free, to be honest.
I know.
We all do, I think, right? That's why we get into this. We want to help people. So
absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you. I really appreciate your time today and for being here and sharing with Superwomen nurses out there that need this support, because this is huge, and having these different opportunities to connect, and already with these tips, setting them up for success right after watching this video. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much, Kim. Thank you for having me here.